I'm pissed because what was Mozeliak thinking? What were the Cardinals thinking? What was Jack Flaherty thinking? Even though I agreed with the decision and thought he was going to pitch well, this is ridiculous.
It is. It is. I can see it in his eyes.
What, are we running a Bush League operation?
Unbelievable.
Here? What happened last
Team
night?
doesn't even try to win.
So, all right. So I don't know if we have the sound. We should play it. So, Jack didn't pitch well.
Whoa.
And let's be honest about it. I'm a rights holder, so I will put the positive spin, but this is kind of what Jack was calling for when discussing his last rehab outing, that he wanted, he didn't come out and say, I want to pitch here, I don't want to pitch in Memphis, but he said it, right? So this would have been rehab start number 3, but the Cardinals agreed. John Mozeliak said it. We agreed that he probably should be pitching in a situation where it's more intense, there's more on the line, thinking it would bring out his best. Well, he didn't pitch well last night. And then in postgame, to me, the number one question was, and maybe I'm wrong because I'm not a good journalist, was I don't care about the results, even though it is a game that they wanted. You wanted to complete the sweep, stay hot. How he felt was the most important thing. Was his shoulder okay? Like going forward, can he snap back into place? And initially, I felt good, and then I was a little taken aback that you felt good. Were you happy with your stuff? No, it was terrible. So anyway, do we have any Flaherty sound?
Yeah, here you go.
There's no part of the process of any of this. Like if I come out and I go and pitch, I want to pitch well. It's not like, oh well, you pitched and it's the first one. Like bull. Like no, it's like you go out and you feel good. You felt good this whole time, and like you want to go out and pitch well and not have a first inning where you do. You make a bad pitch to Reynolds, like okay, he takes advantage of it. We walk Hayes. Probably could have made better pitches there, and then get the ground ball to on Vogelbach, and it's a tough play for Donnie. Like okay, that happens. And then you got to go get the next guy and make a bad pitch to Mitchell, which just extends the inning even more. So and then the inning after that, I throw a ball away, and that started it, and it just was another weird inning. But there's no oh, this is the process, this is the first one. It's the first one, but it's not how it works. Like when you felt good and you come out and you be like, yeah, I feel good, stuff's been great. Come out and be like, oh yeah, command wasn't great. Like yeah, that happens. You have games like that, but it's always part of the process. Like no,
I don't like his language.
I like it.
Believe he swore.
I don't like his language.
Look, Jack cares. And I appreciate that. It was a great soundbite because it shows his emotion. He's a competitor. He may be as competitive as anyone on that team, and he wanted to do better. So I admire all that. But I will say this. When you're on a 60-pitch pitch count, which is what the number was. Now, we discussed it on the show. I thought he could go deeper because I saw his stuff in a second rehab start. It looked good. Granted, it's against minor leaguers.
It's the Pirates.
And it's the Pirates. So, 60 pitches can go a long way if you're Jack Flaherty facing the Pirates. He didn't have it last night. But if you're on a pitch count that's pretty extreme like that, then yes, to me, it is still part of a process, right? You are not back because if you were back 100%, you wouldn't be on a pitch count. So it didn't go well, but to me, the good takeaway was that he said he felt fine because that's the concern, like after that, he didn't pitch well. It was his shoulder, but it wasn't. So I think he'll straighten it out. And as he said in his post game, he was really revved up. He said he was surprised by that. So his velocity in the first inning was the highest, I think 95 on the average fastball. And he said, and he couldn't control it because he was too revved up. His best inning was the third inning, and his velocity had dropped to 92. And he said it was because he was trying to command his stuff and he found something. So the third inning was a good inning, even though he wasn't throwing 95 mile an hour.
Well, that's a good sign then, right?
I think so. I mean, it's hard to tell because I'm not allowed to use the word process.
Oh, my gosh. Well,
or stoic.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
I agree with my YouTube comment section. He's just too focused on tweeting. He clearly doesn't care about pitching anymore. That's obviously the reason.
So what, somebody's complaining about that?
Oh, just he's too focused on social justice causes, no longer cares about baseball. That's clearly the reason via my Twitter mentions and YouTube comments. So, big picture, though. And this is just more of a big picture critique on the Cardinals, where it's
How dare you?
No, it's very easy because I said, look, I looked at the game, okay, Jack pitched well last time. It's the Pirates. Maybe he goes 4 innings. it's 4 useful innings in the big leagues as opposed to 4 innings in the minors. That's the way I looked at it. And also, you also have to kind of admit that this year, the Cardinals have used the big leagues as a test case for a lot of pitching. Like Jordan Hicks started the year attempting to be a starter in the big leagues. We have Packy Naughton as an opener situation in the big league. Sometimes it's for necessity. Andre Palante is becoming a starter in the big leagues. So Jack Flaherty, probably not 100% ready, but they throw him in there in the big leagues. I think the Cardinals are doing more at the major league level this year with just figuring things out than in past years. Because you do have to cover innings. They have innings needs.
I get it, but it didn't work with Hicks.
Agreed.
So I was a little doubtful. Like to me, make sure Jack's ready to go. Now, Jack wanted to pitch here, and I'm a Jack fan, okay? I like Flaherty. Certainly, when he's right, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball, and you want to see that. So you go, okay, he thinks this is best for him. The Cardinals agree. They've had the discussions. Let's see him do it. But, if it's going to be his 3rd rehab start and he's pretty far removed from pitching, I was wondering if it was going to work out, and last night he didn't. But again, he's healthy, so the next one they could ramp up the pitches. Maybe he'll go 75, which would be a normal start for a lot of starters. But it'll be Jack Flaherty, so that's a good thing.
Hey, well, go ahead.
No, I'm saying it didn't work, but I really can't crush them specifically for this move because I agreed with it. I would be very hypocritical if I acted like, oh, this is terrible, when I literally said yesterday I thought it made sense.
Yep.
How about the Pirates trying to win, though?
Yeah.
When did the Pirates?
I had a feeling.
David Bednar, by the way, is a monster, and he's probably done for the year now because you wanted to win a game in June. Like, I get it, but you're the Pirates.
Well,
why are you trying now? Why you tried to break up a no-hitter? Who cares? You're the Pirates.
Yes.
Wait, they weren't all trying. I mean,
Like
Chavez at first base can't make a scoop, can't get a grounder. I mean, defensively they're a mess. Every reliever they had except for Bednar came in and threw 3 balls to start, and then put a guy on base just to add pressure to the infielders. So every grounder to third ended up in the seats. Every pitcher threw a wild pitch to gift a run to the. I mean, the Pirates are not good.
Whoa!
But I will admit, Charlie, they were like, at some point they were like, we're not taking it anymore, right? And then we're gonna let our closer go 2 2/3.
I had a feeling. Hey, certain thing I know. Listen, do you think Jack Flaherty's thumbs weren't right from tweeting too much about social justice? Is that what happened to him?
Well, the fact that he was out by the 3rd inning, I thought it allowed him to take a private jet to go protest at Kavanaugh's house or something. Whatever the big deal was last night. No, I really don't have a problem. But I do think it's important to acknowledge that the Cardinals seem to be okay with putting themselves behind the 8 ball with what Charlie said, like this learn to pitch sort of mentality in the big leagues. And they did it with Hicks. They've done it with Naughton. Now they're doing it with Flaherty. But, hey, look, you do need to figure out what you have in Jack Flaherty, and I don't think you get there by having him continue to start games at Springfield. I just don't. I mean, he was excellent in his last rehab start at Springfield. So give him up. Give him a chance. And, I mean, I thought he showed enough to hopefully build on for next time. But the Cardinals also should have probably won the game. They went 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Like,
The Pirates played some of the worst defense. And, the other thing, too, is now the Cardinals are going to Boston after facing a slop team where some of that slop wears off, I think. And maybe you're not going to – I hope that's not the case. But I will say like with the Hicks thing, I think, it wasn't just like we're going to do some experimenting at the big league level. I think you look at their options at the time. Well, what else could we do? They felt that was their best option. But – with Jack, I mean, it was. To me, I agreed with what they were trying to do with Hicks, even though it seemed odd and it didn't work out. But with Jack, again, I understand Jack wanted to do it this way, and so you give him some space, and he is Jack Flaherty. But if it didn't work with Hicks, I was like, it could work, but I would have preferred to see him get an extra start. But I thought he was going to be good last night. I was with Charlie.
One of the best pitchers in baseball, question mark, delusional. What has he ever done to lead you to believe that? The most overrated Cardinal of the last 40 years.
Wow.
So there's no data that would
wasn't me.
say when
wasn't
Jack
me.
Flaherty's healthy, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball? Man, I've been reading some bad stats.
Back it up, baby. Back it up, 314. Back it up. Maybe you could wake up Goldilocks and let him bring the heat again. What'd he do last night?
Yeah, hey, hold on. Can we do a mic check?
What
Cam's mic sounds off.
Oh, does my mic sound bad, guys? What's going on here?
Jimmy's mic is probably a little hot because he keeps it a little farther away.
Yeah.
And so what's happening is a process called gating, where Cam is actually coming through the room's microphone. And it's taking away from what his direct.
La 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 la.
So-
And we learned this in broadcasting school. I just didn't listen.
La la.
Yeah.
I didn't go to broadcasting school.
Seth, when his professor told him that, Seth went, huh?
Where am
Wow.
I? Where am I?
All
How
right,
do I
so
sound?
you like
would it
grapes?
help? Would it help if I
Double
switch-
mic him. Like
You want to
double
switch
mic.
this
Double
around?
mic.
We can swing.
Here, watch this. Ready?
Oh my gosh! Wait,
Here we
dude,
go.
you have
Whoa,
that-
whoa, oh my God! He almost.
I thought your dip spit was going to spill.
No, I
everywhere.
always seal it.
All right. Well, some people don't.
Oh, I did that the other night.
I
On
seal
the
it.
bed. On the
Here,
bed.
take this.
Hello.
No,
It's not the mic.
it's not the mic.
It's how far back you are from the mic.
yeah.
Is what
And I
Nate
think
is saying.
Cam's is echoing.
Okay. Do I sound sexy?
No, I still think it's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah,
I
go
think
with
it-
this one.
Oh, okay.
Look,
I know.
I didn't go to that 2-bit broadcast school that these clowns went to. I went to
here-
Geneseo State.
Here he is. Hello, everyone.
There we go.
Hello, Gary. Hello.
Gary, come back.
Hey, Nate,
Gary.
take your gating and hit the bricks. Geneseo State in the house.
Damn, I sound good now, baby. Political Flaherty and Bader to the Yankees.
Stop with the-
This is 314. Political Flaherty and Bader to the Yankees for the great Matt Carpenter.
Ooh, how about that trade?
Ooh. When he's healthy, question mark to you, Jimmy? When he's healthy? That's what 314 chime back in. God,
Yeah, I
sound
get
so
it.
much
He's
better.
had health issues, but if you're the Cardinals, you want to get him healthy again. By the way, how old's Jack? He's 34, right? He's 34.
I'm going to guess he's 26. Is it? Yeah. What is he? 26.
26.
Yeah, so he's really in his prime right now. 2019, 11-8, 2.75 ERA. Down the stretch, he was a monster. We saw some of the best pitching in baseball at the
was
time. Good. You get to a full season with an ERA at 2.75. I'm going to say you're one of the best pitchers in baseball when he's healthy, which hadn't been a lot.
Yeah. He had a great 3-month stretch 4 seasons ago. Enough with this crap. Overrated. You might have to call in, homeboy. 314. You might have to call in.
I think it's fair to
He's
say
fired
that
up.
it's the old saying: the best ability is availability. And Jack Flaherty has not been very available the last couple of years. That is a fair critique.
Yeah, I get you on
I'm
that.
not saying he hasn't been injury plagued, but I will say when you're 26 and when you're right, your stuff is as good as anyone in baseball. Does the team just say, sorry, you haven't been available, we're done with you? Or are you doing exactly what the Cardinals were doing? Try to get him back and stick him in your rotation.
Who is the most overrated Cardinal, though? Would it be? Well, it wouldn't be Reyes because he was so pumped up, but then he kind of just got hurt. I don't know.
It very well may be Flaherty.
Yeah, I don't know if you call him overrated or incomplete.
Let's wait till he's finished with his career with the Cardinals.
Is that gating? Are you gating?
That's conspiracy theory.
Is that going to be
We like
after
that.
this season?
When his contract's up, then I think it's fair to decide. What if he
Agreed.
turns back to his old self?
Actually, it might be Hicks,
Oh,
honestly, because Hicks throws 100 miles an hour, and that's like cool and flashy.
I don't know if anyone like Hicks' stuff is great, and he's looked good in stretches in the bullpen, though command is an issue. But I think when people talk about Flaherty, I think it's a different level than Hicks. And I'll agree, Flaherty's been hurt. You know, we haven't seen a long stretch of Flaherty healthy. But if you're the Cardinals and he's 26, of course you're going to go all in trying to get him right.
Does he still have that dime piece Insta model girlfriend?
Jack?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
at
don't
least that's
really,
going for him.
I don't follow him on social media.
Oh, you don't?
No.
All Goldilocks interviews. I miss how awkward they were. They were great. Mitchie wants us to get
Goldilocks.
Goldilocks back on. They were kind of awkward.
Hey,
Flaherty
he's
is finished.
1 for 4 with a run.
These guys are crazy, and I get that. But it is funny how they get emotional over the car.
It's good.
It's good. It's good.
When I got home the other night, I hadn't seen my kid. They went to Philly for a family thing.
Yeah.
Right? I get home and there's him. Gosh, sorry.
It happened.
Can we make fun of me?
Why do I laugh at that?
By the way, the pure joy you have when one of us coughs right at the is beautiful.
know
It's
why.
beautiful. It's like a kid at Christmas.
Oh, God.
So anyway, I get home and I see Tyler. I'm like, T, what's up? He's like, hey. And I was like, hey, did this? I don't know. So I said, what's up? What's up with him? What's up? He's mad that Michaelis didn't get his no-hitter. I go, was he really mad? She said I had to tell him to stop. He was pounding the table.
Pissed at Bader?
He was so upset. No, pissed.
Oh, yeah, I know. But
Michaelis didn't get the no-hit.
Well, hold on, though.
But
Oh, yeah.
Did Tyler blame
That's what I'm
Bader?
saying.
Did Tyler say Bader should have gotten that ball?
He
He knows baseball. This is a kid who knows
right.
baseball.
So let me explain this to you. Tyler doesn't get the genetic athletic gene pool that Holiday's kids, but he did say, Dad, it was only a 20% catch probability for Bader. It wasn't his fault.
see,
You know, he looked that right up, and he said he also had the amount of distance he had to cover, and he said part of it, too, is in there in a prevent defense because there's a no-hitter, so probably it was less than 20% catch probability.
God almighty.
You know, based on angles to the ball. You know, so he knows
He
his
knows
stuff,
what's
but
up.
he just wanted to see it.
I'm correcting your last texter. Flaherty is a positive WAR when healthy. His career ERA is 3.36, which is number 2 stuff. Now he's been injured a lot. I suck at reading, though.
That's true.
No, I wasn't bad.
No one's saying Jack's been healthy. No one's saying that. What they're saying, what I'm saying is, when he's healthy, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. I think the numbers back that up. Has he not been healthy enough? Absolutely. But now he's trying to come back, and he's 26. And if he is, your rotation suddenly looks a lot different. And it looks like the offense coming around, unless they're facing, a really good Pirates closer that goes 2 2/3.
He threw 78 pitches.
But I mean, it looks like the offense is in a good place. They found something in Donovan in the number 2 spot. Kind of connects the lineup, makes it a little longer. And now, if you can get Jack Flaherty back and healthy, the Cards are in a pretty good spot. That's all I'm saying. Yes, that's rose-colored glasses from the right.
You're making sense. Guys, this combo begins and ends with J.D. Drew. Enough with the recency bias.
I was
Nate,
thinking
what is
Colby Rasmus. Well, somebody said last 40 years. Who said that? Texter?
Yeah, he threw
Oh,
40.
I thought that was just on the current roster.
Yeah. So he said J.D. Drew.
J.D. Drew was a 5-tool player, super talented, could do everything. The problem with J.D., and this came from his teammates,
Ouchies.
he didn't work hard enough. But J.D. Drew had some really good years. He had a good year with the Cardinals. I'll go back and look. You can say he was overrated maybe because he never became the guy that maybe some people think he should have based on his skill set. But J.D. Drew was a good major league player.
Yeah.
He was my favorite player growing up.
Really?
Mm-hmm. One of them.
How many years did he play here?
What, 5?
I'm looking right now.
5 years. Let's see here.
We can find this information out via.
How does nobody remember
the
Brett
internet.
Cecil? Remember him?
Yeah,
he
Brett
was built
Cecil,
like
no
a bag of milk.
was a middle reliever.
He's a Canadian boy, isn't he?
Guess what J.D. Drew's career WAR
So
was?
unathletic.
Big video game guy.
I'm going
Yeah.
to guess it was 44.9.
Good guess. 44.9. I mean, that's good. And then, in St. Louis, he was here. He
Why
had
do you say that?
1 year, 27 homers, 73 RBIs, hit 323, on base percentage of 414. The year before, 401 on base percentage, 18 homers, 57 runs batted in. I mean, those are pretty good numbers, but he didn't become the best player in the league, which he had the potential to be.
It's funny you say that because yesterday, I may have, after my tweet about Paul Goldschmidt, just in a defense mechanism, I may have started to prepare a pro Brian McCann argument via Baseball Reference. And I was looking at different WARs, and I noticed that Yachty's WAR, I was comparing, long story short, I was comparing Brian McCann's WAR to Yachty's WAR. JD's WAR, JD Drew,
Comparing wars.
it's higher than Yadier Molina. I understand they're different positions.
Yeah.
But Yadier Molina is going to be a Hall of Famer. And I think that does speak to the fact that J.D. Drew is a lot better than people think.
I agree. And he was good here. He had the potential to be the best player in the league, according to what a lot of people felt about potential. And he didn't develop into that, but he was a very good player. Had a really good arm, good defensive guy, had speed on the bait, could do a little bit of everything.
He also was, when college baseball was really getting popular and really being televised in the College World Series back when I was, I don't know, a teenager. He was literally the greatest college baseball player you've ever seen.
Really?
He was freaking amazing.
At everything?
He was a freak basketball player, too. He used to play pickup hoops at the MAC, and I mean...
At the MAC, that's so funny. You're at the MAC hanging out with JD Drew?
I was at the MAC a lot.
And he was there playing basketball?
Yeah.
Will Clark was on JD Drew's ass as a Cardinal. Will Clark was on JD Drew? I bet, man. Hey, look.
Oh, yeah.
If
He
you're
was on
if you're
everybody.
lazy and you got some hardcore coach or whatever, I mean, like, you got to be on those guys. That's such a buzzkill to see a kid like that, though. That's just lazy. He's got everything.
I don't know if he was lazy. He just didn't work as hard as maybe he could have. Look, I always found him to be a nice guy, talked to him all the time, but never took it to the next level. And there was a year he hit like 250 as a Cardinal, and that's when you were like, yeah, maybe he's got to go.
Look at these stats. 1997, his junior year at Florida State. In only 67 baseball games, he hit 455 with 31 homers and 100 RBIs. That would be a good stat line in a 162-game Major League season. He did that in 67 games in college. Like, this dude, when you watched him in the College World Series, it was like you were watching Jesus.
Jesus.
And he had a nice-looking swing. He could play defense when he was motivated.
Jesus, good baseball player?
Hated in Philly, though.
Jesus.
They hated him in Philly.
Oh, yeah?
Because, they drafted him, and he didn't sign, and so every time the Cardinals went up to Philadelphia, they threw batteries at him in the outfield.
Is that frowned
kind
upon?
of cool.
Second overall pick.
So
Double
with
A.
Atlanta one year, JD hit 305, 31 homers, 93 RBIs. Pretty good. With
good.
The Dodgers, 20 homers, 100 RBIs. Hit 283 that year. I mean, JD Drew was a very, very good major.
So what about Donovan Osborne? The only thing he was good at is sweating through and for.
Okay.
That's important.
So he was overrated?
So we did have a little Charlie's great at Twitter. So he did a Twitter poll yesterday, which I felt like I had to answer because my whole thing was, yes, he's stoic with the media, and that's how fans see it, right? I said it's not a complete picture of who Paul Gold. That was my only argument. I didn't dispute the word stoic as part
yes,
of it.
you did.
No. Well, if you go back and listen to the tape, I actually can almost tell you word for word. Stoic, when the mics are around, I'm saying, but incomplete because he's not stoic in the clubhouse and around his teammates because I've seen it. That's my only argument. So you put out the Twitter thing, and I knew you were going to win the poll. So why don't you give the results, and then I'm going to tell you what I did. So, Charlie, give me your...
First of all, I had the ultimate trump card to your picture. I didn't even play it because I actually felt bad that the poll was so lopsided in my favor. Look at this GIF. Who's making him just crack up right there?
You?
Who's making Mr. Stoicism
I can't see anything.
just belly laugh?
You.
Just because...
I don't
can't
get
see
it.
You
Well,
held
it's
up
too
like
small.
a little tiny thing.
What was the GIF? GIF.
You made him laugh.
My point is, a person smiling once or laughing once or 3 times does not make them not stoic.
No, but it was a good tweet on my part.
And I had
That's
a better
all.
one to reply. I felt
But it
so
backed
bad.
up my point. But it backed up my point.
No, I don't think it did.
All right.
The poll was so overwhelmingly a win for me that I don't even. I mean, it was. Let's look at the results. I'm serious.
Wow.
Am I wrong? It was like 89%.
No, because I said
I didn't
that's
see it.
what. Listen. All right, but give your results and then we'll talk about it.
Like if the poll was 60-40, I'd be like, all right, he's got a case. If it was
You want to know?
50-50,
It's 86.7 yes.
yeah, 430 votes. Just I said straight up. I wasn't asking any leading questions.
Which is fair.
Yeah,
I
but
agree.
what do they know? what do they know?
Well, let him give the
Cardinal
results.
fans.
Let him give the results.
Go ahead.
430 votes. I just said, is Paul Goldschmidt stoic? 87% said yes.
Yeah, but again, but what do they know?
So
They're Cardinal fans that watch
but
him
they're
all
not
the time.
in the locker
But
room
my whole
talking to him.
my whole point yesterday was, and you can go back and listen. That's what fans see, and that's not the full. So you asked exactly what the narrative was, which I get. You weren't being misleading. So I would anticipate that's the way the poll was. My point was, he's not that way all the time.
No one said that.
But that's how fans see him, is when there's a mic in his face. So And I'm
Is
not.
he doing like 15 minutes at the Chuckle Hut after the games? Doing stand-up comedy?
The funny about
No. I'm saying when you see him in the clubhouse, when you see him on the road where they don't care if I'm in the dugout or in the clubhouse when it's not open, and you just see him talking to his, the younger guys or watching him take BP in the cage, chirping. Like no one would think, Goldschmidt, he's not going to chirp a team. He is. He's riding those guys, and they're laughing. Right. I'm saying it's not complete because what you're seeing is a guy who's uncomfortable talking about himself. So anyway, I did my own poll.
Just take the L.
I did.
Sometimes you just got to take the L.
No, because you're not even listening to my point.
Okay.
Is that's the narrative because that's the way he looks, and I'm saying there's more to the story. That's all. So obviously, fans are going to see when the mics are in his face, and he's stoic. Before I give him what I did to advance the storyline here, one of the things that makes your point, which I love about Paul, I said to him in a post-game interview, it was one of those debut days, and it was like middle of the post-game interview, and you want to kind of throw out things that maybe you'll get a little traction on. And he's fine in the post-game on the field. He is. I don't think he's stoic, but he's maybe not as emotional as some guys. But I wouldn't
That's
say
the
so.
definition of the word.
But my point is, listen, but that's again with a mic in his. You're not listening to my point. But I'm going to make your point. I'm going to make your point.
Can we be?
I'm going to make your point because I think it's hilarious. So I said, don't look at him, look at me. I'm talking.
But looking at me.
So I say to Goldschmidt, another debut today, big league debut tonight. Do you guys get a little extra energy off that? And he goes, man, not really. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. But that my whole thing is that's not the full scope. So anyway, I did my poll. Just stop looking at Cam, look at me. So, because looking at you for reinforcement.
I don't need it when I have 87%.
Okay, so I did a media poll from guys that cover him. And if you don't believe I was fair with the way I asked it, check with Brooke. You think Brooke is fair, right?
For the most part. If she's on my side. No, yes, I did.
She monitored me.
She's fair.
Because I knew if I came back, and by the way, the results weren't totally to back me up. I was just curious if people felt that way about him that cover him and see him maybe a little bit more than just, right? So, and I said, Brooke, am I doing this for yes? Because she was one of the ones that said stoic as a yes, okay? I asked 10 people, 10 media people that cover the team. 5. Yes, he's stoic.
Ooh.
And my question was, is stoic a good word to describe Goldschmidt? It was deadlock, 5-5. And honestly, I was fair about it because I don't care if I'm right or wrong about this. I really don't. But I do think it's interesting. He's the best player on the team, and I think it's interesting to see how he's perceived. You're messing with the wrong guy. You're messing with the wrong guy, Charlie. So I just think, I honestly think it's an interesting discussion because it's how the best player on the Cardinals is perceived. So with the media that covers him, is stoic a good word? Yes, 5.
But
no,
also,
5.
I understand I have not worked at Fox 2 for the last 5 months. I was at the man's introductory press conference. He hit a home run ball off my hands in the 2019 NLCS that I should have caught.
Yeah, you should have caught
I did
that.
cover him for 4 years. I'm not like Joe Fan in this aspect. I understand I have not been at the games this year. Maybe the Cardinals credentialing office can fix that issue.
they don't like you.
But it's not like I never covered him.
I don't know where that argument. I didn't say that. That's why I went to media because I wanted to do a poll of the media.
I don't trust the media.
Yes, you see it differently than I do. I'm not saying you don't see him. That's your opinion, and I have a different one. So that's why I asked media, and they, like us, are divided on it. And
Well,
I
that's
think it's
fair.
an interesting question.
I also think, though, that you literally have 12 years of, a word you like, 12 years of data sets. We watched this man as a Diamondback. We've watched him now for 4 years as a Cardinal. I also think everybody, stoic is not a negative term. I think everybody also needs to look up the definition of stoic. It's not a negative.
We did in the clubhouse, actually. When someone asked, what? So see, you're looking at it as, I want to be right. I actually think it's interesting. I actually think this is an interesting thing, a question. So we actually looked it up in the thing, and Brooke was yes. I can't remember, but honestly, it was 10 people, and it was fair. Gould was one of the ones that said no, and he said, and his was interesting because he said he used it in a story, and then felt bad about it. But people were exactly like we're arguing now. They were kind of, the media's like split on it.
I don't care about the media,
segment.
by the way. I don't care about the media. That's great, though. This is a democracy.
It's a different perspective.
This is a democracy. If I put a poll out there and I lost 87-13, I personally would just take the L. I would take the L. This is an L if you're on the 13 side. However, let's do this. Let's add another layer to it. Because you are on the road with the Cardinals. I want you to find Goldie out there when he's in a good mood. Just take your cell phone. Doesn't have to be for Bally's. And just go, hey, bring up the definition and go, Paul.
I will. And guess what? If he's in, like, when he's in he's always in a good
mood. I know,
mood.
before, I'm saying not after they lose to the Pirates.
Okay.
Just like, hey, when he's free and easy, just say, Paul.
Free and easy.
We've had a fun debate. This is just for fun. Nobody's mad. We asked the fans. We asked the media. Here's the definition of the word stoic. Go to Webster's. Do you think you're stoic? And just let's hear from Paul Goldschmidt.
I think that's fair. Let me get the text line because it's straight up.
You know what he
blow
was?
I'd like to hear his.
I will. I'll do it.
He'll do it.
And just so you know, too, as stoic as he was, I said to him, hey, on the road trip, let's do something for pregame. We'll talk about some things and get a couple giggles in there because I mentioned to him, because we're kind of discussing if you're stoic or not. And he said, can we do it in Milwaukee, not Boston?
Or what if he comes on the show? He's never been on the show.
That's true. He's a big dog.
All right, let me see how. So here's what I will do.
Just one day.
Here's what I will do. When I do a sit-down with him on the road in Milwaukee, I'm going to ask him about stoic, and I will try to book him for the show.
All right.
855-282-8255. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. I got to go all the way up to the top because I know this is too early to tell, but is Paul Goldschmidt on the fast track to Cooperstown? I don't know.
Definitely has a good shot.
I got screamed at for saying he probably will be MVP, but I'm not even looking at it yet because it's too early. I don't think he's stoic. Mitchie Boy chimes in. I think he's boring. Okay.
Bastard James Hahn. The Cardinals are 9 games over 500, or are they? Question mark. Oh God, I can't do that again.
Ah, yes.
Funny how Charlie will use "they know more than me" argument when it comes to politics, but not when it comes to regional cable journalism. Jackie Boy.
Wait,
I don't even know what that means.
What have I ever said about that?
Let me read it
Just
again.
move on to
Well,
it.
no, I don't get it.
Damn, who's pissed in Cat's coffee this morning? Is he mad? Are you mad this morning?
Do I seem mad?
No.
I did cough a couple times.
Oh, and I laughed.
I can just see Cat yesterday at the park. Oh, gosh, this poll's not going in my favor. I better ask the local media.
Some terrible Cardinals over the last 30 years. Brett Cecil, Dexter Fowler, Jason Marquis, Mark Mulder, Garrett Stevenson. 636 jumped in.
Mark Mulder had injury after injury, and he could have been the ace of the staff. I mean, he had great stuff.
Oh, Babroni chimes in, who we love, by the way. I went to the MSC every day for a week to paint their parking garage. Schmoozy place. It is schmoozy, isn't it?
Is it?
MAC?
Is this west or downtown?
Either one.
Which one do you go to?
It's fancy.
Well, I don't really go anymore, but I mean, I used to as
West,
a kid
right?
go to the West. Yeah.
You came from some cash, buddy.
Jordan,
Nah.
Jordan Walker hit 432 walk-off bomb for Springfield.
He's legit.
Call him up.
Call him up.
Dude, I was looking at that.
Can he go to AAA?
Yeah, that's true. I was looking at that homer yesterday, and then I started to kind of look at some different video of him. And one was a play he made last year. And that man has a freaking cannon.
Really?
I know he might, and he may outgrow a third base position. And I say that just because he's a big boy. He's going to hit for power. So maybe he ends up as a right fielder or a left fielder. But I saw this play he made, and his arm is freaking fantastic.
Really?
You know who else has Win?
Oh,
the
Win
other process. As a pitcher, his stuff was sick. And, now as a guy who plays the field, you see that arm once. He's sick.
Wynn might have, no joke, the greatest arm in minor league baseball.
Yeah.
My buddy who's a hitting coach with the Cubs organization, when they played, I guess whenever that was, whenever he was with Peoria and this was against the South Bend Silverhawks, he texted me, he goes, Wynn is amazing. He goes, Wynn is 100% a big leaguer. 100%.
And he could be a big leaguer as a pitcher if they had gone in that direction. You know, I was in the video room with Goldie, and we're having a few laughs and eating nachos. No, I saw a video. I saw a video of one as a pitcher, and it looked like a video game the way the ball was moving. He's got all the tools.
NHL says Stanley Cup will not be allowed in Russia this summer for player celebrations. I don't mind that.
That'll teach him.
That'll teach him. Nate, you ever swim naked with the other members in the MAC? I did. Mitchie chimes in. Jack chimes in and goes, Ryan Franklin was another super hype prospect who did nothing.
What? Hold on a second.
I didn't say it.
He didn't even come up as a Cardinal.
I think it was a Mariner.
That's Jackie boy.
Also, I know it didn't work out well at the end of that season. He had an amazing season as a closer. Then it kind of fell off the rails last.
First of all, he had 2 good years as a setup man. Then they made him the closer, and I think he had a 91% save conversion rate before things went off the track. So, yes, he had a solid career as a Cardinal reliever.
Here's a long one, 6 for
And
6.
he was never a prospect.
Ryan Franklin.
That was Jackie Boy chiming in. Think Flaherty was so good when he started. The expectations are greater than what he's been able to deliver consistently. Only if Mo had gone and got another proven starter instead of this on-the-job training, I'm glad to see them being more proactive this season. But afraid these games will come back and bite us all in the ass at the end of the season. Love the show, guys.
That's fair.
That's
I
cool,
mean,
man.
They should have won last night, in my opinion. The Pirates did everything they could to gift that game, and they didn't get it. And you never have enough starting pitching. I was wrong about it. I think they're going to be okay. They did go out and get Matz, who was supposed to be the guy that gives them innings, and he's still got that shoulder impingement.
But we both said, and I agree with that. After Matz, you got 5. But spring training day 1, Flaherty on the shelf, Reyes on the shelf, just Joe veteran. Give me whatever version of J.A. Happ that has an arm and a pulse, that's 32 years old, that will sign a 1-year deal for $5 or $6 million.
We both said Happ. Like, I remember they should have shrunk him down and put him in a glass case in case of emergency, break glass, and then pull Happ out before they left camp.
So I know it didn't work out this way, but as I was watching the game, and so what was it? Was it 4-zip? I'm watching, and I'm thinking to myself, now this is more of kind of like a gambling question, but what type of lead do the Pirates typically have to have against the Cardinals early in a game to think the Cardinals will actually lose? And I came in my own brain. To me, it had to be 7-zip for me to feel like the Cardinals were going to lose. I know it didn't end up that way, but the whole game I still thought the Cardinals were going to win.
I thought about similar thing. Reds too, right? With the Reds, because their bullpen may be the worst in baseball. Probably is. And the Pirates have so many other problems. They have more talent in the bullpen, but they can't field, and there's always going to be something going wrong where the sky's falling. So I thought if you're the Reds or Cardinals facing Reds or Pirates facing the Cardinals, and you get to the 7th, you better be up by 4. To me, 4 was the number.
Also, I know I'm jumping around, but because I was kind of bored yesterday, I think that next time we have Matt Holliday on, I want to broach the superstar argument with Matt Holliday. I want to talk a little Brian McCann. I also want to see if Matt Holliday considers himself a superstar.
Of course
I think he'd play ball.
So I said this on the air the other day, and it was about Goldschmidt. Like, first of all, his reaction to the standing ovation was beautiful.
I love Goldie, by the way.
I know you do.
So everybody knows. I hope, I think sometimes you think what a word, you think what it means. Like, stoic is not a negative, just so everybody knows.
I know you. I get all that, and what you're just saying, I get it. Stoic can actually be used in a good way.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, right.
Al McKinnon, Scott Mellenby, they're stoic.
Well, here's the deal. Look at our text line. A lot of people, no, I don't, because I love fun. But a lot of people rip on the non-stoic Cardinals who are a little too flashy. That's not me. So when I say stoic, I mean more of an unemotional, put your head down, lunch pail, hit a homer, round the bases, and play baseball. I look at it as a positive.
So I asked Goldie about the standing O where he went one step and, hey, like he acknowledged it. And he said, look, I love the fans. I appreciate it. But I was in the middle of a game and there was still a long way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to respect that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know you're not I know that, Joe. I know if what we're doing is we're parsing something for the radio show. And I also thought the Twitter thing was great. Like, why are you making that face? You don't think I thought it was great?
I love you. You know I love you. But, like, if the poll was 87-13 against me, I would just probably take the L, personally.
Except for my whole point was that's what the fans see because that's how he is. And I'm saying
Are you
there's just
saying the
more
fans
to
are
him.
dumb? Are you saying the Cardinal fans are dumb?
No, I'm saying mainstream media Marlowe
Oh,
creates
man.
a narrative, and that's what you show. Listen, he's stoic. I'm kidding. I just wanted to throw out mainstream media Marlowe because it's a callback. But I'm just saying that's the way he is when he's asked about himself. The most of the attention and questions that people show because he had this unbelievable streak, which he hated talking about. All I said yesterday was, I get that, but there's more to him when the cameras aren't on him. So I wasn't surprised by it. And whether or not you believe this, I thought it was a great tweet because anything that furthers our discussions on Hot Take Central, I'm all for.
Well said.
Great tweet. Why is Jim the Cat so stoic when answering questions about Goldie being stoic? Asking for a friend that will call Paul.
I'll tell you what, I'm not a merch guy, but I feel like if we have the rights to a Goldie headshot and then we just put stoic on a T-shirt, I think that could do well.
Make some money.
I would wear it 100%.
I would buy it.
Does Zali need to have a hard conversation with Yachty about his horrible at-bats, especially late innings? Scooter in U-City. What's up, homeboy?
Whoa, we can't mention that.
I don't think Yachty is 100% right now, and I think when it's really hot and they're playing a bunch of games, I think he needs a couple of days.
Yeah.
I don't think Yachty is at his best. What's he at now, 216?
213.
Not great.